Well, it's actually been changing quite a bit since I started. So I started last fall as an intern, basically. The first thing that I did in that role was I conducted what we call an impact assessment, where we were talking with a lot of our partners as well as customers about this program, the Food Hub, which has started in 2018, where we are our goal is to buy as much locally available produce from farmers here to support their work and to support that network, and then also to make this food accessible to both institutions as well as retail businesses, grocery stores, co-ops, restaurants. And we have also last year started a CSA where we aggregate produce from local farmers and pack it into boxes that individual customers then can subscribe to on a weekly basis. And we have expanded this program this year to run from April to all the way through November. So we got a pretty long season, and it's been going pretty good so far. And in my role this year, I've been managing the CSA program for the spring season now, and which is coming to an end in a couple of weeks, and then we'll start our summer season in July. Yeah, that's kind of been my work with the Food Hub so far. Plus, there is another component where we're also involved on a statewide level with a lot of other food systems actors through a grant program administered by the New Mexico Farmers Market Association, where we come together on weekly basis, monthly, and also quarterly retreats and try to connect all the different people who are working on food systems issues, coordinate and find collaborative projects so we all can work together to support each other and to strengthen our statewide food system. So there's a lot of answers to this question, because it's like food is connected to everything, from the environment to the economy to social issues, social justice issues. I think to start with one of the most basic things that we see in our work, because we are really about getting food to people. One of the first problems we're encountering is that there's not a ton of locally fresh produce available even. We live in an area, especially here in Grand County, that, water is an issue that we see all over the state. The availability of water, its impact, on agriculture. We're all connected with water and through water to each other, and especially in these times with changing climate, all those crises and issues that come along with that. Having the resources to even start a farm, even to be able to grow food, is very connected to having access to water, but then also having arable land, having good soil is something that is not widely available here, and a lot of that is connected to hundreds of years of resource extraction that we see. That has depleted our soils, that really poses a lot of challenges for being able to grow food. So I think being able to support local agriculture, because what we see, in terms of agriculture in the state, and especially in this area, the majority of agricultural activity is ranching, and most of the food in terms of beef or other meat products that are produced here. Chili obviously is another big product of this area that really has a lot of cultural importance too. But a lot of this food gets exported. And then in return, a lot of the food that people consume in this area is then imported again from other states. So that doesn't only deplete these communities of an ability economically, because when these products are being exported and then processed and sold elsewhere, a lot of the value creation happens outside of the state. But then also when we re-import the food, we're paying for it, and it's not really benefiting our communities in a very holistic sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, and along with it's not just the economic loss that we're experiencing for these communities, but we're also seeing a lot of nutrients even that are going away when the food is grown here and then exported. It doesn't come back. It doesn't have a chance to replenish the soil. It doesn't have a chance to be part of the next cycle of food that we consume and that we're part of. It's very disjointed. So yeah, I would think that one of the greatest issues in availability of food is related to the very biological factors, the environmental factors, but then also the accessibility of this food, of local fresh produce for communities here, especially for low-income communities. So the Food Hub, alongside with working to buy local food and sell it again to local customers, we also do a lot of work with food pantries. And that has been one of the original ideas behind the Food Hub, is the recognition that people that are dependent on emergency food systems and federal emergency food programs do get a lot of their food from food pantries, but the food that is available there is not fresh. Usually, it comes from elsewhere. We're one of the last places to receive this food because of our local, our remote location.
Yeah.
And we're trying to enhance just the nutritional value of food that people can get their hands on, and that's affordable and accessible. There's always mistakes, so they're part of anything we do. But I think the important part, or at least what has been most impactful to me in working with soil, working with plants, working with composting. I compost a lot myself out here. Soil is a living structure. It's a being itself. It's composed of so many microorganisms that really are a thriving community as long as we help support it. And that's really, I think, where we as humans, our ability to amass resources, and to bring it together and then to take care of those resources is really a benefit, and can be a great benefit to the entire cycle of life. So understanding that soil is a living thing, like we have this often in gardening, we have this sort of impetus to try to clean everything up and have everything as as maybe even as like
like
I don't want to say tidy, not monotonous, but tidy. Like we want everything to be ordered and to look pretty and make a pretty picture, but life is messy. And life thrives most when there is a diversity of structure, a diversity of organisms, of things that we can use and things that other creatures can use. Like the pollination piece, the providing food sources not only for us but for everything that lives around us. It benefits us all in the end because we're all in a cycle together. So covering your soil is, like, especially out here, one of the most important things that you can do, because even if you have the most nutrient-rich soil, fresh compost that you're putting out, if you're leaving it bare to the sun and to the wind and to water erosion, it will quickly degrade, and it's not a sanctuary or a place where life can thrive. So being able to cover your soil with pecan shells, with wood chips, with cover crops, with straw, especially in the times where there's no growth, because plants will grow, and the soil, if left to itself, will take care of itself. And we see that when a lot of weeds pop up, when a lot of the early plants that often come up when there's bare soil, and we just see them as sort of a nuisance. What they're doing is they're the first ones to come out. They have strategies of rapid reproduction, of trying to spread quickly, and we can see this as very, invasive, or yeah. Everything that you find in our gardens are our relatives. We're connected to everything that we see, every bug, every plant, every weed, um, every bird, every animal that might come in and disrupt what we had planned is a relative of ours, and it belongs there, and it has a function in this garden, in this environment. And for us, I think the best thing to do is to observe and to learn how everything fits together, because then we can devise the strategies and find the ways in which we can, with, in permaculture, there's this idea of trying to find the ways in which we can have the greatest impact with the least amount of input. And that is really all about being smart and working smart and not hard. Gardening, farming, ideally doesn't have to be a backbreaking, terrible life job. It can be very joyful, and if we are in connection with all the animals and all the living beings around us, and we can work together, this is something that just brings, again, joy and a connection, to our spirituality as well.